You guys excited? All right. Well, I've got 2 words for you guys. Got job? Thank you, Chairman Howland, President Weber, faculty, trustees, alumni board, and welcome to the parents and supporters of this great class. CLC is where I began my life journey. And my brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, even my 2 sons have taken classes here. So from all of us to you, welcome and congratulations for this great honor. As you begin your life journey today, I actually do want to share 2 words with you that mean a lot to me. And those words are semper paratus. I never was that good at Latin, but it does not mean seize the day, but feel free to, of course. It's a really powerful and extremely useful saying for today's crazy world. It means always ready. But more than a Latin phrase, always ready is the United States Coast Guard motto, where I've learned something about readiness. It was created in 1790 to basically protect our nation, but the motto wasn't developed till years later when they figured out what they were actually supposed to do. It was to depict the unpredictably rigorous nature of their missions. And now more than ever, I think all of us need that as our motto, as things are so much more unpredictable than before. So I hope you are always ready, and I urge you to. When I came here in 1975, I was clearly not ready. I was a 16-year-old who had managed to graduate a year early, thought I'd learned enough, and wanted to join the working world. But first, I thought I'd use my newfound freedom to travel the world. You see, a couple years earlier, I had started my own business. It was a snow plowing business, basically clearing driveways with a commercial tractor that we owned named Herbie. And I named the business Sunset Snow Plowing because we lived on Sunset Lane, of course, but also I could only plow driveways at night because I had to get to high school on time. But those of you that really know what happened, I basically did snow plowing at night because I didn't have a driver's license, and I never told my parents that I actually had started this company. So fortunately, it worked out for me, but I was really afraid that they'd shut it down if I told them about it. So a couple of seasons later, there I was. I graduated high school and was ready to spend my snowplow savings on traveling the world. And my dad caught wind of it, unfortunately, and he basically said, "What is this half-baked travel plan?" Handed me a brochure about CLC and says, "You're going to go there and check this school out." And like immediately. So my dad was a big Italian guy from a family of 13. He had 7 kids of his own. He didn't mince words too much, but when he said something, you pretty much better listen. And thankfully, I did and came here. And I found a remarkable place. CLC was this growing college, still under construction, with a few temporary buildings scattered around. And I really loved that. Back then, by the way, you could just park right in front of the building and walk in, even when you're late for class. I mean, what is with the parking around here, you guys? You can lose like 10 pounds going back and forth to your car. I told, President Weber, I said, in order to be called College of Lake County, don't the parking lots have to actually be in the county? I would think so. But like a good startup, I just loved the potential CEC had to offer, and I signed up on the spot for welding and automotive class. They seemed like a priority to me, so we could keep our tractor Herbie running, and I could keep my business going through the coming winter. Later, I figured out that I had really just kind of outgrown high school curriculum and really lost my love of learning. But when I was here, I was amazed of all the classes and all the cool things I could do. I could take anything. I could do anything, including not go to class. And they didn't even call my parents. It was just great. But next I thought, well, since I'm here, I might as well take some business classes. Having my first fledgling startup under my belt, I thought I knew about business. I thought I was ready. Wow, was I dead wrong. After rekindling my love of learning here, I finally found out what I had a passion for studying. It was business. So when I transferred to NIU, I was almost ready. Apparently, I was in such a hurry to get out there that I neglected to take the last class I needed to graduate at CLC. So President Weber has just informed me that today I will finally receive my CLC degree. And, all right, take it easy now. I'm going to cry. Seriously, it's an honor to walk here with you guys, to come up on stage with you when we do this ceremony. And I guess Mr. Weber thinks I'm finally ready. So, when you come up here to receive your honors, remember your parents might be thinking, what happens on Monday? Having two sons of my own graduating soon, who are both here, by the way, I think your folks are worried about lots of things. They're worried about they're going to have to help you longer than expected. I'm mostly worried about how long do I have to keep paying your cell phone bills, which is okay. Just remember, when you guys make it big, pay their cell phone bills. I mean, each of you will make it, and you'll make it big in your own unique way, but your journey may not unfold as planned. You must be ready for not just what's happening now, but what's possible in your future. You see, the rules of business are being disrupted, and traditional education will not totally prepare you for what's next. That's why I created something in my mind called Ready Mode, which means you have to let go of the fear, act a little more responsible to prepare for what's possible for you. So I'd just like you to consider two things today to get into that ready mode. One is joining the entrepreneurial movement, and the second is rebooting yourself through lifelong learning. If you track the news, this could be labeled as the absolute worst of times. Unemployment's high, very sluggish economy, but I'm here to tell you this will be the best time if you're ready to seize the entrepreneurial movement that is basically lurking out there for you. Forget about the news reports. When I graduated here, back in the 1800s, interest rates were all-time highs, and we were rationing gasoline in a crippled economy. It was horrible. You probably guessed there was no on-campus recruiting back then, limited number of jobs, and forget about a career track. But again, forget about stories from old guys like me about back in the day. What matters now is today's job market is shifting from very structured, location-based, chronological careers. It's shifting to more flexible, open, entrepreneurial ecosystems that you can play in. It's true, big companies are cutting back and not hiring as much. We are also experiencing an entrepreneurial renaissance that is driving the growth and creating new jobs around the world, and it's not going to back down. In cybersecurity alone, there are 60,000 jobs open right now, waiting for people to get ready. For those interested in pursuing this movement, it's easier than ever. It's more socially accepted to explore an entrepreneurial journey, be it inside your existing company, outside in an incubator, maybe starting your own company, or just joining a risky startup. For those conservative groups of you in the crowd that want to just test drive things, the good news is you can try these ventures while you still have a day job. That's my favorite. I mean, I've always been kind of a hybrid goofball because I've always been on a dual track. So when I was at school, I was always trying to work somewhere. When I was working, I'm still trying to learn, and it drove my parents crazy. And it really wasn't normal, but now that's the new normal for everybody here, no matter what your age. For some of you, this entrepreneurial exploration is going to be a matter of choice, but for others, it is going to be thrust upon you, so it pays to be ready. In every one of your chosen industries, there is business model disruption ahead. So let's look at one cause of that disruption, my favorite, which is technology and the internet. The internet has been transforming industries like news, entertainment, travel, and real estate for quite some time now. It's ushered in new companies, new wealth, it's unseated market leaders, and in the process, it's welcomed about 2.5 billion people online, including all of us. But guess what? There's 7 billion people in the world, so we've only scratched the surface. It's altered forever how we work, play, study, and connect with each other. 20% of the industries have been impacted by the web. So over the next decade, you will witness the enablement or disruption of the remaining 80% that have only begun to feel these effects of the Internet of Everything. The Internet of Everything is when connectivity is embedded in everything from our sunglasses and dog collars to our refrigerators and toilets. Yes, he said toilets. So everybody knows about Moore's Law here, right? Moore's Law continues to plow ahead, making these devices smaller, more powerful, cheaper than ever. The iPhones in your pocket, I see you texting over there. Do you know that those have more processing power than all of the computing power that existed on the planet when your parents were born? So by the end of the year, there's going to be 7 billion cell phones on this planet, further accelerating our information explosion. And that's a huge opportunity for everybody in the room, regardless of your industry. So let's back up a little bit. Since the dawn of civilization until the 20th, let's say the end of the 20th century, mankind created about 5 exabytes of data. What is 5 exabytes, your parents are thinking? Just think of the Star Wars Death Star. That's 5 exabytes of data. It's massive. From the beginning of time till now, almost. But now we create that much data every 2 days. That's a lot of dancing cat videos. And when the class of 2014 graduates, we're going to generate that much data every 10 minutes. So I just hope I'm not paying my kids' cell phone bills then, because it's really going to be crazy. So some of you are thinking, geez, why don't people use their delete button more often? That's too much data. But for those of you who are getting ready for the next opportunity, those exabytes of digital exhaust, if you will, those could be your business opportunity that allows you to make your mark on the world. Your peers are doing just that. The pace of students that are starting companies is accelerating. From Zuckerberg's Facebook to Crowley's Foursquare to Dorsey's Twitter, and you can all join them. As we move to the Internet of Everything, look for advancements in every sector you've been studying, whether it's education, energy, healthcare, transportation, government, even the M word, manufacturing. Entrepreneurs are using 3D printing for rapid prototyping right now. So when you go a year from now, you'll be able to come up with a cool idea, go down to Kinko's, print out a 3D model of it, and go have it manufactured. Any of you can create the next billion-dollar company. Many of you will try, some of you will succeed, and one of you will be here addressing the class of 2013, telling us how you basically seized the entrepreneurial movement and became a millionaire. For those of you who stay in the industry that you're pursuing, it can be the best or worst of times. It's your choice. It all depends on what side of the status quo you end up on. Do not be on the side of defending it. You don't think that you probably will, but when you're in the fog of war and you haven't prepared for what next, you can often get stuck in that status quo Borg. It doesn't matter if you start out working in a hospital, a corporation, a government, or a services shop. You can create the first entrepreneurial journey in parallel. It could be a blog, it could be a book, it could be a startup, it could just be a charity. Whatever you want to do, it's your choice. So let's talk about how do you get ready for the entrepreneurial movement. I believe one way that I'm passionate about is rebooting yourself through lifelong learning. You got this far, so you guys clearly know how to learn, right? And the last thing I want to do is hear someone talk about going back to the classroom. Believe me, when I got done with my master's degree, I never wanted to sit in a classroom again. So, here's the good news. Lifelong learning is not about you sitting in a classroom the rest of your life. It's not even always about you being the student. It works in reverse too. Look for ways to help, to teach, to tutor. You'll be amazed when you reverse the process. It's magical. You learn so much. It's priceless. So we're lucky to be living in what I call the age of always-on, open-sourced, chunky learning. Did he say chunky? Yes. Chunky learning is when you learn skills in little chunks, like in-demand certificates that some of you are getting today, project management curriculum, technology, industry-specific credentials like that. I eventually stopped getting degrees and just got into chunky learning, mainly because it's more fun. But it's an extremely competitive world out there, and we need to expand our learning, step up our game, feed our curiosity. As humans, we need that. Whether it's taking a class or volunteering for something cool, getting these chunks of knowledge along the way, it's really going to be a good part of your journey, but basically it's good for your body, it's good for your soul, it's good for your brain, and oh yeah, it's good for your livelihood too. Do you want some proof of that? I'll give you a couple examples. Did you know that companies may not hire you if you don't show proof of lifelong learning? Some are even now measuring agility, which basically measures how quickly can you learn something brand new and actually go and apply it the same day or the same week. Talking to a manufacturing CEO last week, he said, Dean, if they score low on agility, they don't get the job. Good news is, it's never been easier to participate in learning programs. Even me, the paranoid optimist that I am, just to be safe, I still do some chunky education every year. And I'm not alone. Dozens of your fellow graduates here today are in their 50s and 60s, and I want to applaud those of you in the audience that have come back to get these certificates. Amazing job. So chunky learning keeps you in ready mode. That's great. But here's the thing. It can happen in a flash when you just don't expect it. My career got stuck one time, and I used the power of stories to help me. Two in particular that inspired me. One was a banished CEO from a company that he created, and the other was a fed-up corporate leader plotting his escape from the bureaucratic blog. One night, I watched a Steve Jobs documentary soon after he was fired from Apple. The story was about him shaking off the sting of defeat and launching a brave new venture called Next. At the end of the program, I just knew somehow, someday, I need to get to Silicon Valley. It just looked like too much fun. But the second story was on Barry Diller, who had just brought one of those cool new Mac laptops. At that point, those laptops were basically kind of the if you will, the maverick symbol for us corporate guys back then. And he would sit in these boring staff meetings at his company he worked in and start typing. And basically he was typing and creating the media company that he wanted to launch himself, which he soon did. It's now one of the largest media companies in the world. So I didn't know how much their stories actually had impacted me at the time. You know, meticulous Steve showing me how to come back from defeat, and bold Barry on how to marshal up the guts and the courage to make a move. But years later, when my phone rang about a Silicon Valley CEO opportunity, their stories had already put me in ready mode, making it easier for me to shake off my fear of leaving my corporate confines and jump into the rough startup waters. It also helped me rekindle the entrepreneurial fire that I had developed here, which I hadn't practiced in a while. I had rebooted myself into ready mode and I didn't even know it. But I was not literally ready. I was not fully trained. I wasn't qualified. You want to know the truth? None of us will ever be. But if you wait until you're perfect, your remarkable opportunities are going to pass you by. I just needed to be willing and able, and so do you. Whatever you choose in your career, the Internet of Everything era is upon us, and I encourage you to get closer to technology and entrepreneurship. Those two things collide at 1871, which is our startup accelerator in the city, named after the Great Chicago Fire. Would-be entrepreneurs come there with new ideas, and if they want to learn how to build it themselves, we have classroom-based programs where anyone can learn how to code, design, and launch a web app company. People in their 20s to 60s are creating the next generation of Chicago companies. And I encourage you all to visit 1871. Not at the same time, of course. It's just a very exciting, supportive, and contagious environment. You will walk out of there excited about doing something. Don't have time to go to class or hang out with entrepreneurs? No problem, because as you've seen, we are also living in an educational renaissance where online technology and education are just at your fingertips. Take advantage of it. Your lifelong learning will be a rewarding adventure, so stay curious, stay agile, but please have some fun along the way. So today, I'd like to leave you with 3 thoughts to guide you as you begin to reboot your always ready life journey. 1, believe in yourself. You're a CLC graduate now. Nothing can stop you. 2, cherish the journey. And remember, life is short. And 3, give more than you take along the way. You'd be surprised what happens. I know it may be a bit scary, even risky, and your journey may be bumpy as you reboot yourself into the future. I wish all of you the strength, the courage, and the passion to seize those heady times ahead. So go fast, go steady, and when your opportunities come, may you be always ready. Thank you and congratulations.